Let's be real for a moment. Faith doesn't always look like fire. It's not always loud. It's not always bold. Sometimes faith looks like getting out of bed when everything in you wants to stay under the covers. Sometimes it looks like brushing your teeth, sending a text, or choosing not to numb yourself. Sometimes it's just saying, God, I don't feel anything right now, but I'm still here. Faith isn't always strong and steady. Sometimes it's silent and barely standing, but it's still faith. And today I want to speak to those quiet in-between moments where your faith isn't loud, but it's real. Because one spirit-led step in the dark is still holy. Let's talk about it. This episode is personal for me. It was born out of a season I'm still in where from time to time I find myself completely out of sync with myself. My body feels heavy, my mind gets foggy, and my emotions just shut down. In those moments, I'm not angry, I'm not even sad, I'm just blank, numb. Logically, I know what's going on. I'm exhausted, I'm emotionally spent, but knowing that doesn't make it any easier. I remember lying in bed one night thinking, I feel like I wasted today. I could have done so much, but I barely did anything. I knew I needed to do something, but I also knew I couldn't fix it all at once. So I made a simple plan for the next day. Trim my beard, cut my hair, maybe tidy up in the house a little. Nothing major, just one small step. And it helped. Not because it solved everything, but because it reminded me of something so important, that healing doesn't always begin with a breakthrough. Here's what I've learned. Even the smallest act of faith is sacred when the Spirit is in it. Galatians 5:25 says, since we are living by the Spirit, let us follow the Spirit's leading in every part of our lives. Not just the big parts, not just the church parts, every part. And sometimes the Spirit leads us to do the smallest thing, to get out of bed, to answer a call, to take a walk, to pray a simple, tired prayer. And if that's where you are right now, I want to tell you that counts. That's holy ground. Because it's not about the size of the step. It's about the direction of your heart. Let me take it a step further. Faith isn't just sacred when you're struggling. It's still sacred even after you failed. Sometimes what keeps us stuck isn't just sadness or stress, it's shame. We give in to something we said we were done with. We made a decision we regret. We know better, but we didn't do better. And now the enemy whispers, see, this is who you really are. You failed too many times. Your faith doesn't count anymore. But that's a lie. Because our faith doesn't stop being true just because we messed up. Romans 5:8 says, God showed his great love for us by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners. Not after we got cleaned up, not after we got it right, while we were still in it. So the step you take after a fall, the one where you say, God, I know I failed, but I still want you, that step is sacred. It doesn't erase your mistake, but it reminds you that your failure doesn't erase your faith. This whole episode, really the whole series, has been my way of saying one thing. Faith doesn't have to feel loud to be real. Too many of us have been taught, either directly or subtly, that faith has to be emotional. That if we don't feel something powerful when we pray, if we don't sense God in a big way, then maybe he's not there. Maybe something's wrong with us. But that's not true, because God doesn't disappear in the silence. He doesn't retreat when we're tired or numb or walking through a valley. In fact, that's often when God draws the closest. Elijah didn't find God in the wind or in the fire. He found God in the whisper. In Psalm 23:4, David said, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. So if you're walking through a dark season, if your heart feels quiet, your prayers feel flat, or you're just trying to hold it together, that doesn't mean your faith is gone. It means your faith is being refined. And that's what I've come to call spirit-filled realism. It's the kind of faith that keeps going even when emotions run dry. It's the kind of faith that doesn't rely on hype, but on hope. It's grounded, honest, and filled with the Spirit even when everything else feels empty. Because sometimes the most sacred thing you can do is take one small step, one breath, one prayer, one quiet moment of saying, God, I still believe you're here. Even the smallest act of faith is faith in action. If this episode spoke to you, I want to hear from you in the comments. And if you've been walking with us this entire series, thank you. This may be our final episode, but the journey doesn't stop here. Keep going, one step at a time. God is with you. He will never stop loving you, and He is always faithful.